Morning.
Hello. How are you?
Not too bad. How are y'all doing?
Good. Is it just the two of us?
So far, people don't normally sign up on Zen for it, so it's hard to tell who's coming. So it's kind of just a guessing game of, oh, who's gonna be here? How are you guys feeling?
I'm surprisingly good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's nice. I hear Ed's elbow's giving him hell again.
Yeah.
Or still, I don't know.
Yeah, still.
Still.
Yeah.
Remind me, is it the front part of the elbow or the back part of the elbow?
Back part.
Back part.
Yeah.
Okay.
It flares up with snatches and the power cleans. Like a
Snatches.
jerky motion
Yeah.
gets it real agitated.
Okay. Does it shoot down into your fingers at all?
It's pretty
No.
centralized.
Right around the elbow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I figured we'd kind of work on that a bit, like kind of forearm, back of arm, down into the kind of back of the shoulder and everything. Kind of focus on that a little bit today to see maybe we can find something that will give it some relief, was kind of my thought. So I would have your smaller lacrosse balls or something of that sort. That's what I would do. But we'll give it a few more minutes in case anybody else jumps on. Did y'all do anything fun this weekend? Like, wait, it's the weekend? I'm confused.
We watched Groundhog Day.
I forgot about that movie, yes. Yes, the never-ending Groundhog Day of
Which is
what is currently happening. Did you actually watch it, or did you?
Yes, we actually watched it.
You actually watched it. You're experiencing it. Might as well watch it.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a really good one. Yeah, we've been exposing the kids to Men in Black. So we've watched 3 of the Men in Blacks now. And then we watched, because yesterday was National Talk Like a Pirate Day, we watched Pirates of the Caribbean with them. So we're doing a lot of new first movies. And luckily enough, my son, who's he's just a really scared kid, but he did fine with it. It was really surprising and nice. So everyone enjoyed it. So it was good. It's a nice little, the small things. The small things. But that's a good one. We should watch Groundhog Day. It's a surprisingly good movie and very fitting for our life right now. Just kind of is. All right. Okay. Well, let's get started. How are you, Julia? You doing all right?
It's always a real challenge because I can't see and I have to take the glasses off. I can't see what I'm doing. Yeah, I'm good. I'm much better than I was.
Good. I'm glad it's working through for you.
I'm kind of better than I was, so.
Good. I'm happy to hear that.
Finally.
Yes, that is good to hear. Well, we are making our way up this week, and we're going to work our arms, kind of the backside of the arms a bit, getting to the forearms, back of the triceps, and then the back of the shoulder, hopefully. So we'll do a bit of arm, hand, and wrist work. So I do suggest if you have smaller balls, more like lacrosse-sized balls or the smaller yoga tune-up balls, I do suggest those. I would also suggest a couple blocks or something you can put the balls on. It just helps with the rolling. But we will recheck shoulder flexion just because it's easy to check recheck. So I'm going to do it kind of seated just so you can see a little better, but you're welcome to do it standing. Go ahead and flex your shoulders a couple times up and down. For me, I'm just barely off of 180 when I'm honest with myself this morning, just kind of just below in front of my shoulders. But give it a few rounds just to get a sense of where you actually are. Is there any pain with the movement, any restriction with the movement? What's stopping you from going further, that kind of thing. Get a sense for where it is. And then we will grab for our center balls. I do suggest doing this with a set, so either a peanut or the tote or whatever you have available. You can do it with the larger balls, there's nothing wrong with that, but I prefer the smaller ones on the forearms. It just is what it is. So let's begin. I like to start by kind of karate chopping the ball. So placing the arm right between the set, setting it down, and then rolling along the whole outside of my arm. I set myself up to press down. So as I'm on top of them, I'm using my top arm to press down. Now these are softer balls than lacrosse balls. If you're doing this with lacrosse balls, you probably don't want to press down. You probably just want to keep it just your general body weight or forearm weight on there, mainly because lacrosse balls are so hard. So keep that in mind. Sometimes more is not more, particularly if the instrument you're using is quite hard. As you're going up and down, get a sense for where your tension is. I'm feeling mine a little closer to my elbow today. I can feel there's some tension in there. Now we're going to take the karate chop into a kind of swizzle. So I'm going to flip my hand up, roll up and down, and then I'm going to flip my hand down and roll up and down. And I'm just going to kind of roll the front and back. So I'm flipping my palm up and down, which is flipping my forearm to get those flexors and the extensors on both sides. Just in case any of you only have one ball, I don't suggest rolling the front of your arm with only one ball, as there is a particular nerve that is rather close to the surface there, and we don't want to irritate it. All right, so let's flip the palm to face up for now. Go ahead and find a nice juicy spot. Once again, once I'm in the meat up here, I feel that I have a pretty good spot. I'm gonna take one of these away, and as I have that pin there, I'm going to pull my fingers in, like actually curl in, try to make a fist, and then open it up and bring it all the way back down. So curling the fingers in and then bringing it all the way back down. I'm doing this on a rather sensitive spot, a spot that has a little bit of stickiness to it, a little bit of tenderness to it, but I'm curling the fist in and then opening the hand out. So creating a little bit of pin and stretch. If that feels like it lets go and dissipates, you can move on to another spot. Maybe finding one more spot along this forearm, the back side of the forearm. And then we're going to flip it over. So now we're going to take it palm side down. Once again, you do have the median nerve that runs straight up, kind of the middle of your forearm. So if you have carpal tunnel-like issues, be cautious with this. Don't roll down closer to the wrist and put pressure right in the center. That's part of the reason I like to do this toted, is it does kind of hug that nervy area. But you can always keep the balls closer towards the elbow, more on that flexor group up there. But I do like to kind of piece this area out and get a sense for it and how it's doing. But once again, if you're using something like lacrosse balls, just be cautious of this area, that you're not irritating that nerve. If you find a rather sensitive spot, I've got a pretty good one right there. Once again, you can pull the hand towards the forearm, palm open, and then you can make that fist and contract those muscles and go back and forth between the two. We are sitting on the ground now, but if you're someone who sits at a desk and has a desk at home, this is actually really much easier done at a desk. So it's a nice little kind of throughout the day to give your forearm some release. Way to go. It's a nice little addition. My flexors are surprisingly not as cranky as they normally are, but I did just work on them this week. But go ahead and if you find a few spots, pin and stretch, flip that palm up, make a fist as it comes down. You might get a little pop and crack. And then we'll let that go. We'll take it over to the other side. So same thing, round 2. Set yourself up. I like to prop the balls. Karate chop down, so you're hugging the outer edge of your forearm, and then you're going to roll all the way down and all the way back. Now this is kind of gripping onto both sides, all that musculature on the outside of the forearm. And then when you feel about ready, adding as much pressure as you need, you can begin to kind of swivel the hand up and down, pronate and supinate that hand. To me, that just kind of feels good. It might also give you an idea of where kind of your tension is, where your irritation is at this point in time. My extensors are feeling it more than my flexors today. And then when you're ready, we'll take that palm to face up and we'll focus just on that extensor group. So once again, I like to kind of double up, but once again, I'm using softer balls. So if you're using lacrosse balls, maybe don't add quite as much pressure. But I like to kind of stack my arms and press down, then I am getting my flexor group on top and my extensor group on bottom. Once you find a pretty good spot, if I've got one there, I'm going to extend my hand back and then curl in as tight of a fist as I can possibly curl in, creating a little added stretch there. If that kind of dissipates, the stickiness kind of goes away, you can easily probably find another spot. At least for me, I can easily find another spot here. It doesn't take much. Maybe finding one more. And then when you're ready, we'll flip it over and now we'll get that flexor group. So once again, the meat of the flexors is closer to the elbow. You're welcome to stay there to avoid any potential nerviness that you might run into. Just being cautious, kind of depending upon the instrument that you're using to do this. But you can set yourself up, feeling into it. Trying to find a spot that is grumpy, maybe find one right away, in which case just hang out, pin and stretch once again. It's always nice to give those flexors a little bit of love, particularly if you went to strongman yesterday, you might need a little extra on those flexors. They tend to do a lot of work in strongman. Finding just another spot or two for this area. And then we will let that go. And we're gonna come down onto our tricep. So I'm gonna do this on my back and set myself up so that the balls are kind of hugging my tricep muscle, so that they're laying across the meat of the muscle. You can always pull the balls out and just use one ball for this. I just kind of like it with two. We're gonna start just by rolling that ball all the way down to the elbow, and all the way back up. If doing this on the ground is not to your liking, you can always take it up to a wall. Set yourself up at a wall and roll back and forth across that tricep at a wall. It puts you a little more in control of the pressure at the wall, as well as you can kind of hit different angles. So pick which one works for you depending on your space and kind of where you're at, what you like the best. As you're going up and down, once again, if you find spots, like I've got some spots here close to my elbow that feel a little cranky, like it's a little bit stiff in there. So I'm gonna start by twisting my arm, turning my palm to face up, turning my palm to face down, rolling against the grain of the muscles there, trying to create a little extra slide and glide in that area. And then once I've got a really good spot there, I'm gonna straighten my arm to the best of my ability. I'll pronate and supinate, turn my palm up, turn my palm down, and then pull my arm back in, getting a little stretch on the muscle. Working my way through that sequence a few times, palm face up, palm face down, bending in through the elbow. That is quite cranky today. Make sure you are breathing deep inhales, slow, steady exhales. If you manage to get the spot to kind of relax a bit, you're welcome to find a new one. Mine is kind of right here by the edge of the elbow where I'm feeling the most kind of discomfort. So I'm going to hang out there and just play with the forearm and bend and straighten the elbow, just moving the ball slightly as I need to. I would also keep in mind that sometimes the best thing you can do is just direct pressure, not finding any movement, but just kind of letting the ball sink into a spot, breathing into it, and attempting to let the muscles relax around the top of the balls. Seeing if you can just, from the inside out, let that muscle go. All right, we'll give it just another breath or two, about 10, 20 more seconds. And then we will take it over to the other side. So same thing, round two, bringing it across the body, maybe rolling onto your other side, hugging the tricep with the set of balls, or if you're just using one, just place the ball right in the middle, roll it up and down to the best of your ability. I like to work the length of the muscle first, kind of get an idea of where my tension is, keeping in mind one side can be very different than the other side. This one's not near as cranky as my right. And most of the tension, kind of the stickiness I'm feeling is more in the center of the muscle on this side. So for this side, my balls are going to be more in the right in the middle of my upper arm bone, kind of hanging out. And once I feel good about it, that's a pretty good spot for me. I'll bend and straighten my arm, twist my palm down, twist my palm up. Kind of playing with that positioning, seeing what maybe is going to give the most stretch, the most release to that muscle or to that portion of the muscle. As usual, keep your breath flowing, deep inhales, slow, steady exhales.
If that spot begins to dissipate, get a little less sticky for you, feel free to move on to a new spot, bend and straighten the arm. Maybe you just sit and can sustain compression, just let the ball sit in one place and breathe into it. Trying to let it relax from the inside out. Once again, we'll take about 2 or 3 more breaths, about 20, 30 more seconds here. And then we will let that go. Let's do one final little roll, kind of the back of the shoulder. So bringing the balls to the back side of the armpit. Where I would encourage you to focus on is kind of this little lip, this little junction area where the side body kind of turns into the arm, where the shoulder blade and arm meet. If you dig the balls up and into that junction, you hit kind of a triangle of terribleness. You can do this with 2 balls, or you can take them out and do it with 1. But I like to set the balls up vertically, roll on top of it, and then kind of let the balls sink in. Aiming for that junction where the arm meets the side body, kind of that head of the humerus goes inward. And hang out. You'll know the spot when you find it. It probably is quite tight and cranky on most of us. It is just one of those spots that on most people has a lot of feels. So get in there, hang out with it, breathe into it to the best of your ability. If you're having trouble finding it, you're welcome to just roll onto the back side of the body and onto the front side of the body. Just kind of playing with it, whichever is best to your liking if you're having trouble finding it. But getting into this kind of rotator cuff area here. We'll give it just another 2 or 3 breaths. And then we will let that go, and we'll flip it over to the other side. Same thing, round 2. I know this is going to hurt for me on this side. I can feel by the way the back of my arm is feeling that this kind of junction is going to be kind of cranky. My left wasn't that bad, but I'm pretty sure this right's going to be pretty terrible. And you might be able to feel into that yourself, whether or not that's going to be the case for you. But once again, going for that junction where the arm bone and the shoulder blade rib cage meet, letting the ball sink into that kind of terrible spot, and just kind of hanging out and breathing into it, trying to let it relax. It doesn't necessarily require a lot of movement once you get the balls in place. It's probably pretty icky. But if you're having trouble finding it, feel free to kind of do that back of the shoulder blade roll back onto the side body, roll onto the shoulder blade, roll onto the side body. You're welcome to get into there. None of it is going to be bad for you, so work with it as you will. If you find the spot, the really cranky spot, you are welcome to hang out, breathe, attempting from the inside out to let the spot kind of relax. Can you let the muscles relax over the top of the ball? Just to point out, you always know you're on a good spot if you inadvertently sigh, like you just find yourself kind of like, oh yeah, that's a good spot. Just kind of inadvertently sighing. That's a good sign that that's a spot that your body needs to release. So something to watch out for as you're rolling on your own, as I know you all are. Or at least I sincerely hope you're doing this more than one time a week. All right, let's let that go. Bring yourself up. Come to your sitting or standing, depending on what you decided to do. We'll flex the arms overhead. Mine got quite a bit of length there. But feel for yourself how that turnaround was. Hopefully you got a bit more. Looks good. All right. And once you feel good with it, we'll bring it up to a stand. Just a little bit. There we go. Okay. So we're going to play with the elbows first. Elbows in tight. We're going to come into some elbow circles. So keep your elbow locked onto your rib cage. Big circles, palm face down, circle it around. Palm face down, circle it around. As you're bringing it around, see if you can separate the movement of the lower arm from the upper arm. Can you let that forearm pronate followed by the internal rotation? Pronation followed by the internal rotation. Forcing those lower arm muscles to do their job and not just letting the upper arm kind of take over. Let's go one more this direction. And then we're going to reverse it. So you'll take it pinky side in, internal rotation. Then can you keep the bicep pointed in and let your palm face as much outward as you can before rotating that bicep. Bring it around and in. Palm turns, then upper arm turns. Palm turns, then upper arm turns. Forcing those supinators to do their job. Let's go one more. And then we'll switch sides. So we'll go the easy way first on this side. Flip it up. No, that's the wrong way. Flip it out. Palm face down, back in. Flip it out. Palm face down, back in. So once again, palm faces down, then the upper arm bone can turn in. Palm faces down, then the upper arm bone can turn. Can you separate that lower arm from the upper arm? At least for me, this is the easy way. Now let's flip it, try to do the hard way. Bring the pinky side in, arm internally rotates. Can you turn the palm up and then let the upper arm turn, bringing it back around. Palm up, then the upper arm turns, then you bring it back around. Palm up, upper arm turns, bring it around. To me, this is hard. I feel burning in my forearm on this. My forearm supinators get tired relatively fast. They are not used to working independently of my upper arm, come to find out. Let's go one more. And then we'll let that go. All right, let's take it down to the wrists. So let's start with the hands. Hand movement, big like you're conducting an orchestra, big hand figure eights. If you can conduct your orchestra pretty well, you can get the fingers involved. And as you come down, close the hand. And as you open up, open the hand. Close the hand, open the hand. Making your full hand open and close and work. I'm scooting closer just so you can see. So right now my index finger is leading the movement. Probably for you too, because that's the easy way to go. But now we're gonna flip it and we're gonna make the pinky side lead the figure 8. So the pinky side makes a figure 8 motion. Can you make the pinky side lead? And the answer may be, no, not really. I feel really stupid when I try. Or you might be like, oh, that's not so bad. In which case you can open and close the hand as your pinky side leads. And then we'll let that go. Okay. So now we're going to kind of separate it out. That was the hand movement. Now we're going to try to find wrist movement. The difference between hand movement and wrist movement is when I move my hand, my forearm stays relatively still. When I move my wrist, my forearm moves. Okay? So your forearm should be moving with this next little bit. So we are going to Karate Kid this out and lead with our wrist and, you know, paint the fence, paint the fence, paint the fence. Seems rather timely if you're watching Cobra Kai, perhaps. I haven't watched it yet, but still Karate Kid-esque. Lead with the wrist, lead with the wrist. Forearm should be moving as you do so. Upper arm is still, forearm is moving and leading the motion. We'll take one more. And we'll come back through center. And now you're going to kind of spread the sheets. But you'll notice that my forearm is leading, that inside of my wrist is leading. My hand is trailing behind my wrist. So spread the sheets, spread the sheets, spread the sheets, making your wrists do the work. It's fun to realize which parts you're like, oh no, I can't do that. That's doesn't work for me. This is really hard for me. This takes a lot of thought, and everything is, you can't see my hands shaking, but as I'm going in and out, my hand is literally kind of vibrating. It doesn't like doing it. It's very hard. All right, and then we'll let that go. Shake that off. We will be done with that. Okay, let's come up to the shoulders. We're going to do really big shoulder circles. So try to keep the chest forward as you create your shoulder circle. Chest stays right where it's at, facing forward. As you come up, back, and around, as you hit those backward spots, try to hang out and feel all those little bitty muscles working to try to get your arm to make a complete circle. Next time you come forward, we'll reverse the direction. Take it back, around and down, back, around and down. We'll go one more. And then we'll switch sides, taking the other arm back, around, and down. Chest faces forward as you do this. Don't give in to wanting to spin. Make all those little bitty muscles turn on as your arm comes around back behind you. Mine is very snap, crackle, poppy today. Next time it comes forward, we'll reverse directions, take it back, around, and down. Once again, that backward portion, make it go a little slower, make all those little muscles turn on the back side. One more. And then we'll let that go. Let's bring it up to the shoulder blades. Big shoulder rolls. So the shoulder rolls are going to be up, back, retract the shoulders, feel those muscles between your shoulder blades turning on, down, depress them, and then roll them forward, protract them. Up, back, down, forward. Can you hit all those points and still make it be more or less a circle? Do your elbows try to do it with you? If so, can you let your arms be a little softer? Can you make it so your shoulder blades are doing the movement, not your elbows or forearms? Next time you come forward, flip the direction, bring them down, roll them back, lift them up, roll them forward. Bring them down, roll them back, lift them up, roll them forward. This way makes me feel really dumb, but I do it anyways because I'm bad at it. There's always got to be one direction that is hard. All right, let's do one more. And then we'll let that go. Let's do a little bit of a nerve glide. It's a radial nerve glide for the nerve that runs down the backside of the arm. So what you're going to do is you're going to grab your thumb, hold on to it, tip out the pitcher of water. So coming into that ulnar deviation. Then you're going to take your arm at an angle kind of back behind you. Drop your shoulder blade down, depress it. And for me right now, I'm feeling a really big stretch already. You only want the stretch to be about a 3 out of a 10. And then if you feel up for it, you can tilt that head over just a little bit. And we're going to drive this by turning that palm to face up and turning that palm to face down. A nice big nerve glide here. Get about one more. And then we'll let that go. We'll switch sides. Grab the thumb on the opposite side. Dump out your pitcher of water. Drive that arm at an angle behind you. Drop the shoulder blade down. To me, that dropping of the shoulder, I get a nice big pull. And then I'm going to tilt my head the opposite direction. Once you get a nice pull, you can begin to internally and externally rotate that arm. Turning that arm up, turning that arm down to kind of drive the flossing. And then we'll let that go. All right. Let's come down to a tabletop position. We're going to take our hands flat on the ground. And we're going to take some movement from here. So with the hands flat on the ground, you're going to start by turning your pits of the elbows forward and then turn the pits of the elbows behind you. Pits of the elbows forward and pits of the elbows behind you. Internally and externally rotating those arms. Notice if you get a stretch on the forearm. I get a pretty good stretch along the right side, left side not so much. And then we're going to flip this, and we're going to turn the palms to face up. So same position, I've just flipped my palms upwards. Same thing, round two. I'm going to turn my pits of my elbows forward, pits of my elbows backwards, changing up the stretch just a bit. I said tabletop, but once again, you can scoot back to take some of the pressure off. If being on your wrist like this is not to your liking. And then we'll let that go. You can once again conduct an orchestra a little bit if you need to release that. And now we're going to find some different positions of the hands, and we're going to find some cat-cows from that position. It's going to be mainly thoracic cat-cows, so as you move, I want you to focus on making that upper back bend, and then the upper back extend. Upper back flexes, upper back extends. So we'll start just in our regular tabletop, focusing as much as you can on that upper back flexion and extension. Cat-cow in the upper back. Chin tucks in tight. Chin looks up and extends behind you. So focusing on the thoracic and the cervical as you do your cat-cows. Take one more. And now we're going to flip the hands. So you're going to turn your hands around. So I'm taking them, I'm turning them to face towards me. Outwards, pinkies face one another. And once again, you're going to come into that cat-cow. So you're going to press that upper back up towards the ceiling, make the chin tuck in, make the upper back flex, and then make the upper back extend. So focusing once again on the upper back of the cat-cow as you flex and as you extend. Can you make those vertebrae move? Even with your arms in this position. Going for one more. We'll let that go. And now we're going to flip the palms downward or the palms upward. So going on the back of the hands, palms face up. Same thing, finding your upper back cat-cow. Can you make that upper spine move even when your hands and your arms are in this very awkward position? You'll notice I'm not in a full tabletop. My hips are back a little bit to relieve the pressure some, but I'm still able to locate my upper spine and find some cat-cow of that upper back. Let's go for about one more. Pretty good. And then let that go. Once again, conduct an orchestra. Let your wrists release a bit. Let's grip our fingers together as such, and we're going to make a wave. Full flexion, full extension of the hands, of the wrists. And then we'll let that go. All right, last little bit we're going to do here. We're going to find some elbow circles, but we're going to find them on the ground. So we're going to up-level our elbow circles, make them a little more difficult. So I'm coming to a relatively kind of lying position. Palm faces up. I'm kind of like, oh, I'm almost going to go into a side plank here, but I'm going to circle that arm around all the way through and then back. Circle the arm around all the way through and back. It's an elbow circle and kind of shoulder circle at the same time. Making it work for you, changing the pressure and the angle on that shoulder circle. Give it a try, see how it goes. If it is too much for you to do said movement, you can come up more to a tabletop and find some tabletop elbow circles. I like to change the angle here just to kind of get a sense of where I'm having some tightness in my shoulder and my elbow. If you feel up for it, you can always switch the direction of the elbow circle. But if that is too much on the brain and the body, then you are welcome to kind of let it go and just go one direction with it. It is kind of a combo of an elbow and a shoulder circle, but it's a nice movement to have. Go one way with it, go the other way with it. You might feel some interesting things in your forearm, shoulder, all of the above. As you find the interesting things, feel free to hang out and stretch at them. Whatever you need to do to try to make it release. And then when you're ready, we'll switch sides. So coming to the opposite side, same thing, round 2. Flipping the arm around and in, all the way back around. I like to take it in kind of a almost sideline, getting ready for a side plank type of position. Noticing from one side to the next, if one side's a bit more cranky, needs a bit more attention than the other side. When you feel ready, and if you feel up for it, you can reverse that arm motion. Make the circle go the opposite way. Get a lot more pops and cracks on myself when I go the opposite direction here on this left shoulder. Maybe taking 1 to 2 more circles. Letting it go when you're ready. I'd always suggest bringing yourself up, maybe going through your range of motion one more time, seeing how your shoulders feel in that range of motion. Did it improve more? Maybe it was too much and we lost a little bit, which is always a possibility. Very good. Looks great. All right. That's all we got for today. Questions, comments, let me know. I'm here. Always happy to help. Thanks for coming. We will be here next week. If you have any requests, let me know. We will make them happen.
Request line.
Oh, that's right. Call the request line.
He didn't realize I had it unmuted right as you said it.
It was the perfect timing.
Thanks, Kevin.
No problem. I hope your elbow feels better, Ed.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Good luck with it.
Have a good day.
Y'all too. Bye. Good to see you guys. Thanks for coming, Shush. Bye, Julia.
Bye.